Excellent.
Hey, Derek, fantastic. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to come and chat with me today. I really appreciate your valuable time. Please introduce yourself to the audience. It'd be fantastic to hear about you.
Thank you, Tricia, for having me. In fact, it's a delightful moment to talk with you now over Zoom. I'm really happy about this and for us to share our cross-cultural knowledge and experience for the rest of the world to learn. So it's an exciting moment. My name is Derek Tower, and I am the founder of Image Talks Africa and my Image CV. So I'm really very particular because I have the passion for career development and youth capacity building. And I got to understand that one of the major problems, in as much as jobs are not available for everyone, but everyone gets to find a job at one point or the other. But more important, the limiting factor is unemployability rather than unemployment. And that unemployability is not actually based on the deficiency of academic qualification, no, but on the deficiency of finishing skills, the ability to showcase your competencies, your capacities, potentials, and to make the recruiters see you as a fit for their business. That has kept a lot of people in the job search market for many years. And key to that is the CV. Because before any recruiter gets to meet you, they will ask you to send your CV. So your CV is actually going to be the first medium or personality they interact with. And based on the perception from your CV, the recruiter decides whether to shortlist you for an interview or to trash that CV. So the CV is more or less a qualification tool, a quick assessment tool. And that is why, irrespective of how well groomed you are, how well educated you are, the skills you have packed, the many certificates you have adorned yourself with, you need to be able to communicate that succinctly in that simple 1 or 2 page document that gives a good first impression about you. So that's why I think discussing the CV is something we should do now.
Yeah, I think you've touched on some great points, Derek, because it definitely is one of the first tools that a recruiter will fall back on to be able to decide whether or not you will be hireable. I guess I want to ask you, you mentioned skills. How do you, or how do we display our skills on a CV when, first of all, we usually have so many more than what is required of a job? And second of all, maybe we don't have the skills, but we want to get them. How do we showcase this?
Okay, it's important to be targeted. Our life history, like I did a CV for a client a few days ago, and she asked me, please put all those things that you remove because they are all about my work history. You cannot put all your work history on one CV for only one specific job. So you need to target, you need to check the job description to understand what are the basic requirements and skills that is needed for this job. Then you now check your work development and your work history. Those are the specific skills you have to highlight on your CV. And again, because the recruiter is looking at a glance to see whether you have the capacity and the potentials to fit into their company. So those capacities and potentials have to be read off from the first 2/3 section of your CV. Let's divide the CV into 3 sections. So the first section and the second section must inform a recruiter that you are competent, capable, and have the potentials to be engaged in that particular job role. So you sprinkle a little bit of your skills in your professional summary section. By the time you say you're a professional, this and that, with so number of years experience, having done this and that in so and so industry, you possess this, that, you won so award, that. On your professional summary that is between 100 and 120 words. And then immediately below that, you can now have your skills section, your core competence section, where you can now list at least 6 to 9 core skills, beginning with your hard skills, which are the technical skills that you are going to use to actually do the job. And then your soft skills will come, which are the interpersonal skills that will enable you work well around the environment. But there's another kicker to that. There is something I bring in between the skills section and the professional summary section, which is achievement highlight. You can throw in an achievement highlight, 1 or 2 achievement highlights that shows that the job role you are seeking, that you have accomplished something like that or much more than that before, where you exceeded expectations in your previous role. You just bring out 2 or 3 and put achievement highlight, then put your core skills before your work experience. The moment the recruiter reads through that 2/3 section of your CV, they say, aha, this is the right guy or girl we want.
Derek, I absolutely love your enthusiasm, your passion. It's just making me really, really happy. We haven't even, I mean, a couple of different group chats with you, but we really haven't discussed the foundations of CV. And it's so funny that you are sitting completely another part of the world to what I am, and yet you are consistently saying the same message as what I preach. And I think that's fantastic, because I do that the same. I was laughing because I'm doing the same with my own clients. So
okay, good.
We are on the same page. I think you really honed in on a good point, and achievements is something that we really encourage our clients to do, but quite often people forget. And I think it really shows the importance of, throughout your job and working history, you really need to start tracking things.
Exactly. And it's
otherwise you get to 3 or 4 years and you can't even remember what figures, metrics, numbers you achieved.
So exactly.
Yeah. Do you see, working with different people across the globe, expectations of what a resume might be compared to, say, Nigeria versus South Africa versus Australia, for example? Or is it generally the same expectations what a CV should look like or job application should look like?
Okay, there are country specifics that make it different. For example, South Africa. In South Africa, because of the underlying racism and what we call favoritism and insecurities, South African CV would need you to give a little more background about yourself. You need to write your national ID number. You need to give details about where you are from in South Africa. You have to give more details about yourself, that helps the recruiter to know that, yes, this person is from a safe zone. Is not someone that is that have some political undertone, or what will I call what do you call this? Someone that have potential to cause problems. Mm-hmm. The same thing with, I noticed also that in Asia, you would need to give a little bit transparency about yourself. You need to have your international passport number written on your CV. You need to show that you have resident permits and all that. Aside these unique differences, everything else is the same. It's all about showcasing your potential and your capacity. How well you fit into an organization is the reason why a recruiter will hire you. So all other details are specific, and that's why we tell our clients, pay attention to the job description and the specific requirement from the client. It differs. Some people might want to know your age. Some people might say your age is not important, but pay attention. And that is not the time you have to argue with the employer. Why are you asking me for my age? Why should I put this in? If you think they shouldn't ask you, then don't go for the job. But if you're going for that job, you should be patient and humble enough to provide all the details they ask you for.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think this is really the importance why we should encourage other people to seek help from professionals or from industry experts when I do these documents. For example, I will be honest with you, Derek, if I had someone in your region, I would happily say that I'm not comfortable in taking someone's profile and pass it on to someone who has experience with that market, because some of the industry trends within specific areas are so specific that then we hinder ourselves. And I think it's really important that yes, we may be our competition amongst ourselves on this platform, but at the end of the day, we're trying to help clients. So I think that that trying to share the workload among people that are known within that sector.
Yes.
What do you see, or what's your most valuable tips for CV writing?
My most valuable tip for CV writing is keep it simple. CV writing is not graphic designs. You're not going for Adobe Photoshop competition. So it's not about the colors. It's not about how pretty you look. If I'm going to employ you because you're pretty, then I'm putting my job at stake. So it's not about that great photo that you want to pose, on your CV. It's not about that. Recruiters are not sentimental people. True recruiters should not be sentimental. Irrespective of what they see around, they should be able to narrow down to the basics. So I tell job seekers to be simple and yet be assertive when writing their CV. You don't need to sound beggarly. You don't need to sound deprived. You don't need to sound like you're overly, really, really looking for this job. You just need to sound enthusiastic. Your attitude should just be like that of a lion, a tiger, that you're ready to take up something. Not the one that, please, I need you to just give me this job. I'm a humble, that. And then I also want recruiters to know that for those who are fresh graduates, writing your CV, you should understand that as a fresh graduate, you are going to be assessed more importantly by your educational qualification. So that comes ahead before your work experience. But for experienced workers, do not put your education immediately after your professional summary. Bring up your achievement, your work experience, and then your education will come immediately after your work experience. And then focus on achievements and not responsibilities. You may have responsibility to do this, to manage this business, but that doesn't prove that you did well at it. It doesn't prove you performed. So stop filling your CVs with responsibility. I'm in charge of this, I'm in charge of that, I'm responsible for this. Yes, you are responsible. What have you done with the responsibility?
Yes, absolutely. So, agree more.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So your achievement, what you accomplish, what tools you use to accomplish it, those tools is where you now bring in your skills, your core skills into play, and the purpose for achieving it and the results. So in making this measurable, you need to use metrics, bring in numbers, bring in those percentages, those ratios, those numbers that immediately one knows that this person moved something from point A and transformed it into something in point B. That must show clearly in the way you list your job description.
Absolutely. I think it really shows the value that you'll bring to the next organization. And in today's market, this is something that organizations or companies are really looking for. What can you do for them to better their future?
Exactly.
Maybe two other questions I would like to ask you.
Beautiful.
How do you foresee, I know the job market is saturated at the moment. There is far more job seekers than what there are jobs available at the moment.
Beautiful. Exactly. Yeah.
So how does someone, for example, want to apply for a job, maybe in desperation or, you know, in really need of a job, but they don't have skills? What could they put on their CV so that although they may not be 100% suitable, they still can do the job?
Yes.
What do you think, or how can we, as CV writers, how can we help them showcase their ability to do this, even if they don't have a lot of prior experience?
Okay, good. There's a thin line between, there's a blurry line, let me say, between helping someone to become who they're not and helping someone to showcase who they are. As CV writers, we must understand this thin line and try to be authentic and original. It is not advisable to put on a CV the skills and competencies a job seeker does not have. You are misrepresenting that job seeker and you are misrepresenting yourself. But you find out that there are job seekers who have these skills, but they do not know how to communicate it. CV writer's role is to help communication, is to help communicate your skills. It's to, like, you have a stack of skills from here to there, and you don't know in priority where to place them, and a CV writer looks at it and says, okay, no, pick this up, put it here, and then no, oh, garnish this, brush this up, put it here, you have it. And then a CV writer should be able to advise the job seekers on some basic skills and competencies the job seeker can quickly learn in order to upskill capacity. Because in the job search and in the original document the candidate sent to you and the training of the candidate, so many common lines that you can take in 6 hours, in 8 hours, that you can prep yourself up. But okay, for those skills that the job seeker is still developing that is in view, if you put it on your CV, you need to highlight, bracket at the end that it's in view. That is something you are working on. And then by the time you are being invited to an interview and you're being asked to tell about yourself, apart from your achievements and the things you have done, you should also be able to paint a picture that there is certain skills which will be required for that job that you are already undergoing learning and you're already taking courses on. That makes the company know that you are teachable, you're a fast learner, and then you are building capacity to be able to perform in the job role.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I have maybe one last question for you, Derek.
Yeah, good.
What do you, or how do you differentiate yourself between all the other CV writers on this platform? And why would people want to come to you to work with you on their CV?
That's a tough, simple but tough question. Okay, for me, I see no competition because one, there are 2.3 billion job seekers in the world. There are over 230 to 250 million yet to have jobs. And then those that have jobs are also transiting from one job to the other. So the job seeker market it's so much, it's huge. One person cannot do it all. We all can do it all. I believe in knowledge sharing. In fact, I believe that resume and CV writers should have a development platform where we can share knowledge. You can never handle all the CVs in United Arab Emirates. There is no way. Yes. And if you want to pursue making sure that nobody else writes CV in Dubai, you're going to stress yourself and you will kill yourself sooner than you thought. You know, so I, for one, I know I am authentic. I believe in myself. I am positive, and then I have emotional intelligence. That makes me able to help my customers in a way that doesn't rob me of my professional duties. For example, someone gets to me a message, which I have often. Derek, please, can you help me review my CV? I could just tell you, I do not review CVs for free. This is my fee. The person runs away. But I could say, oh, that's okay. Could you please send me your CV or send your CV to this? Or could you personally log into this website and then have your CV score? When the person personally reviews his or her CV and sees that his score is low, he gets back to me. My score is low, it's average, it's C+, it's C-. What can I do? I said, okay, I can give you a few tips, but if you need rewrite, I can handle rewrite for you.
Yes.
So I don't push the fee forward. Yes. I don't tell you, pay me, pay me, pay me. I interact with you and get you to a point you are ready to take the order. At that point, you just know genuinely that I am out to help you.
Yes.
But I'm not going to start writing free CVs for people, because when I do that, it's not going to take my bills. Yes, but I can chat with the customer. I can chat with the client. I can help them to understand where they need help and the reason for needing help. Some people ask me, what are you going to do to my CV? What value are you going to add? Why should I pay you? I just tell them, what is the score on your CV? Okay, let's profile your CV. We profile the CV together, and the person scores, let's say 53 over 100. I said, okay, when I rewrite your CV, you're going to have 95 over 100. So the person automatically knows that, oh, I am going to add value up to 40% value on the existing CV.
Yes.
Some people might go off things saying that I'm going to do it alone, and they go on and they cannot get it done by themselves, and they still come back to me. So I provide support, encouragement, positive vibes, and that's the way people come to me. And if somebody says they want to try other people, I tell them, no problem, go ahead. You can try as many CV writers as you want. So that's the way I go about it.
Fantastic, Derek. I absolutely love your attitude, and I would be more than happy to share any of my network that I'm unable and incapable of doing, and happily refer you, give you referrals. I think you bring a lovely zest to the community.
Thank you, Tricia. I appreciate that so much.
You're most welcome, Derek. Thank you so much for your time. How can the audience get in touch with you?
I am on LinkedIn. Derek Towa is my username on LinkedIn. And I think the best platform for you to reach me is LinkedIn. I don't need to share all others. So just get on LinkedIn. I want all job seekers to be on LinkedIn. So get on LinkedIn, look for me, Derek Towa, send me invite, and then let's chat.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Derek, so much. I really
appreciate your time.
Let's keep in touch.
Thank you. We'll keep in